guys, yes, there's People and Places with me, Dr. Mama K, and we are at the African Impact Initiative at the Workshop 17 Watershed, Cape Town, South Africa. And wow, what a day it's going to be, or it has been. And I've got somebody who is like me, is cooking a lot of things in there, and is going to share his story with us. Please tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay, my name is Mulibi Mapanyane. I'm from Botswana. I'm a former international rugby player and management consultant, but a trained economist as well. And what I did was, when realizing that I needed a community for continuing health and fitness, I wanted to build a marketplace so that anybody would be able to find those services. But then I realized that the people who offer those services also need business skills. So we found a way to make sure that we handle the business and they handle the fitness. And then we continue to upskill them through certification and courses so that anybody who wants to get into this space can be empowered to keep us happy and healthy. And that's what everybody wants. We believe that everybody is born with greatness in the hands. Our job is to make them greater.
Awesome. And I can see you're proudly carrying your certificate to say you successfully completed the African Impact Challenge Incubation Program. How was that for you, the challenges? But I'm sure it must have been a little bit of a challenge in terms of even the program.
You know, I think one of the things that I loved is that they took ideas and made them practical. So even the concepts that we have of how to validate your business, achieve product market fit, and achieve your mission, they broke it down into little steps that forced us to engage in different activities that helped our businesses grow, and for us to define what it is that makes our ideas special. So now we're really confident about what our business is, how we're going to do it, why it's important, and how we plan to succeed.
Let me go back a little bit. You were sharing the story about the fact that you used to be a former rugby player and now an entrepreneur, and the fact that you're from Botswana. Can you proudly share, why you are Botswana, or why, Botswana to the world?
Okay. I mean, I love Botswana, and one of the things that I love the most about rugby in Botswana is that it allowed me to travel across Africa, make beautiful connections, meet different people, and network. So I also realized that Botswana is a little bit of the middle of the world, because there's 2.2 million people in Botswana, and that means that everybody knows everybody else.
That's Cape Town.
That's Cape Town to say. But the beautiful thing about it is there's 2 degrees of separation between like me and somebody you would never even think of somewhere else in the world. So if we cook it in Botswana, we can serve Africa and eventually the world. And that's why we're there, and what we want to do is perfect it for that market. And if it works there, it will work anywhere.
Awesome. So for you, over the years, how long did you say you started?
It's been a year and a half
now. Year. What are some of the life lessons, that you've learned from not just being an entrepreneur, but even going back to you being a professional rugby player who has traveled across the continent and across the world? What are some of the life lessons that you've learned that a young Steve, a young Ayanda in Cape Town can, maybe say, okay, this will help me?
I think one of the most important things in rugby, we say there's a position for every shape and size. And what that means is that every single individual has value that they can bring to a team. So as we grow, we must know that every single person that we meet is important in some way. Even the people that say no, the reason they say no can inform your business. Everyone talks about resilience, but more important than resilience is coachability. Take the no as a coaching moment, take the yes as a coaching moment. If you get high on the praise, you will lose contact with the ground that got you where you are. So all together, take the good and the bad, learn, listen, write it down, and have it inform your journey.
Lovely. Wow. Are you sure you never used to run masterclass and tips like this? You condensed that into such an insightful, So let's go back now to African Impact Initiative. If I am in let me see now, Guguletu, which is a township
Yes.
in Western Cape here, South Africa. And I'm looking, oh, okay, I like what he's saying. I like, what Great Fitness is doing. How can I join the initiative? Is it for me? If I have questions, just run us through the process and whether you found it beneficial. I know you mentioned at the beginning, but I wanted to run that.
So I think one of the most wonderful things about the African Impact Challenge, which is what drives to the initiative, is that it's open to anybody. And once you get into that program, they teach you a lot of different elements of business and have you put them into play so that you understand the business, as I said. So through that process, which is open to everybody, it's essentially a free course to teach you how to think as a business person. And that in and of itself is enough value to click on that link, fill out that form, and tell them about your business. If you complete that course and you're in the top 20 or so, you'll be selected to be in the initiative, and you'll most likely get funded to continue your growth. So every single step of the way, they're giving you value. So don't worry about it. Don't complain that it's not enough. Know that if you're part of this, you've got a partner for life. And that's what I appreciate.
Awesome. My last one.
Sure.
Because I know, people have a networking there and you don't want to miss on the network. In Africa, we're still looking, being challenged by poverty, unemployment, crime, health disparity, and a lot of other negatives. But then we have the tech, we have the sport, we have the arts, we have the culture. For you, how do you see us using the positives to address the negatives in terms of not just Botswana, not just South Africa, but Africa as a look, for us to cook that meal and spread it out.
Africa's power is its people, and we are beautiful. And we just need to recognize the beauty in each other and the connectedness that's there. I joked with my friend from Egypt that when the comedian jokes about his mother, I can't look my mother in the eye because we all share common experiences, and that commonality is what's going to cause us to walk into the future that we choose to build. And we need to stop complaining about what others are giving us and realize that what we build for ourselves, we are future makers, not future takers, and we have the entire and all the opportunities because of the problems. Those are opportunities. We have those opportunities to make a massive impact on the world and on ourselves. And as long as we bring our brothers and sisters with us, there's nothing we can't achieve.
Wow. Thank you so much. I feel so inspired, especially for someone like me who is older, thinking that, okay, yeah, the young, you've got it. So I can always go back and relax and say, no, don't worry, Africa it's good, we're there. Thank you, we salute you, we celebrate you, we see you, and thank you for impacting lives positively through your business, through what you're doing and everything else that you've done. Now I lied. Now I still need you to do something for me.
Okay.
I want you to just give words of encouragement to anyone that you feel led to speak to out there, especially young people or anyone you want to speak to. But I want you now to look in the camera to do that. But before you do that, just share your social handle so that people can support you as well.
Okay.
But you look in the camera.
So, if you want to reach out to us, we are at Greater Than Fitness. That's GR8R Than Fitness. We're on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, LinkedIn. We're on pretty much all of them. So we look forward to getting a follow and to updating you as we continue to increase our footprint across the continent. My advice to anybody out there is that we are not alone. There is always an opportunity. We do not give up hope because things change very quickly. And no matter how you feel where you are, there is somebody that's looking for you. And I promise you that. You might not believe it at any given time, but that opportunity will come if you put yourself in a space where you can be seen. Because there's talent there. And as I said, each individual brings their own thing, and we need every single one of us to build the future that we want to build.
Thank you so much, my brother. I salute you again. We have something really, really small that you can take with you to Botswana. It's rosemary herbs.
Okay.
Since you're in fitness, we're
Yes.
trying to promote herbs. People taking more herbs, more natural, so
Yeah.
you can make your tea.
Ah.
When you get back to Botswana, you can think about this interview and how you've shared your experience. It tells you a little bit about who we are and what we do.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
How do you say bye bye or thank you in Botswana?
Well, we would say Tamaya Sinclair, as in travel well. Or you
Okay.
could say Hosiami, which means all is well.
Osia, I like that all as well. Say that. Let's say that again.
Hosiami.
Osiami. We'll be right back. Hi guys, yes, it's still People and Places with me, Dr. Mama K, and we are still at the African Impact Initiative built-in garage at the Watershed, Workshop 17, beautiful Cape Town, South Africa. And yes, we've got another person who's going to share his story and just give us a little bit of how today has been for him. So, my dear bro, how are you today? Okay. I think because we had a pre-conversation,
Yes.
I think I have an idea of what
Okay.
you probably are saying.
Go for it.
But whereby you're saying, this is I,
Yes.
and then the that is like, well,
Correct. And how are you?
how are you?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me more.
So I'm well. My name is Claiborne. I'm the founder of an organization called Deaf Touch. And at the core of what we do, it's to bridge the communication challenges between the deaf and the hearing to create a more inclusive society. So we are building the tools and the solutions to ensure that we shape communication to become inclusive and acceptable for all communities, irrespective of what your abilities and disabilities are.
So for you, because for me this is I've never met somebody doing anything like what you do. So for me, why did you decide to go into this line of business or an initiative?
So I come from a very challenging background, being a colored male, having grown up in South Africa, still suffering under the impact of apartheid.
Where are you from?
So I'm from Johannesburg,
Okay.
a town called Boksburg,
Okay.
in a
I've heard of it.
location named Regenpark.
Right. Okay.
So I represent Regenpark on this global stage, and because I saw what both oppression and exclusion causes, not only within a community but in a society, when I was given a word from my creator to make a difference in the deaf community, I could only take my entire life experience and create a solution that would impact them in an absolutely phenomenal way. So the deaf community suffer from massive challenges that you and I, even though we are exposed to it and even have come from them, it's exacerbated when communication is absent as well. So unemployment, more than 75% of the community is unemployed. Less than 20% get what we call a secondary education in order to get to university. And when it comes to accessibility, just so that they live a life that is normal, less than 15% have that accessibility. Keeping in mind it's a community that's made up of more than 460 million deaf people globally, 70 million use sign language. So their challenges are so much more exacerbated. So that word God gave me was to ensure that we include them and create an equitable society.
Wow, powerful. So I'm looking at, because I know South Africa, the sign language seems to be added on as one of the languages. Am I right?
100%. So
Okay.
after about 40 years of advocacy, fighting, and trying to influence policy and all the rest, the deaf community succeeded in sign language becoming the 12th official language of our Rainbow Nation.
Awesome.
And we are super excited about
Awesome. And for me, when I first heard about that, when it happened, I was so delighted because I was like, wow, this is good, because like you said, the barriers, and challenges, faced by people, who are deaf, blind, disabled, and a lot more. Or if you're a woman, young, or if you're an elder woman, or you come from the township, there's just so many levels of barriers. So tell us about today's event.
Wow.
How has it been? And the whole initiative, how have you been involved in it?
I think firstly the event today again just speaks of an absolutely world-class platform that African Impact Initiative has built, where they are creating a platform for Africans, by Africans, that's going to make a global impact. Through them, I have already been able to create partnerships and networks in Canada, in Europe, and obviously in Africa as well, because in as much as we have a deaf population here, we have a deaf population in the world, and they connected us to that. I was fortunate again to pitch today at the event and took first prize again. So again, an absolutely amazing platform that truly connects African innovators who are solving real problems for our continent, and being able to scale that and make it a sustainable solution. So they're an amazing platform. I will probably stand here and boast about them for the rest of the day, but please do look into the work that they are doing and connect with them, because they can most certainly help bring your idea to life and connect you to world-class networks.
Let me now come to South Africa and your story.
Yeah.
Obviously you shared, and I love the fact that you're proud of your town, your township, where you came from, where you were born, and you gave a shout out, there. For you in South Africa, the unemployment rate, the crime level, and everything else we have, I know there's so many negative. What are you mostly proud of as a South African?
Our people. Our people are defined by their challenges, mostly by the way they overcome the challenges than the challenge itself. And so to come to South Africa and meet someone going through the type of challenges that they are, but they can greet you with a smile, that speaks to our country. And I couldn't be more proud of our country for offering the rest of the world an example of what it looks like to not be defined by the problem, but being defined by who you actually are. And I'm absolutely proud of being a South African, and I do look forward to us being able to influence the rest of the world with that culture, to be able to look beyond the challenges and still have a spirit of Ubuntu. And that's why I guess we call the Rainbow Nation. So very proud of our people.
Also, now let me now finish with my last one. Two. Almost the last one.
Okay.
But this one is a question.
Yes.
So for you, what are some of the life lessons that you've picked up along the way from your journey from way back, from your home and all the people that you work with and so on, to now that you're meeting other people from other African countries, and you being a founder of a unique initiative that is providing solutions to issues for the deaf people. What are some of the key? I know there will be a lot in there, but I just wanted to condense them into a few that you can share, so that a younger version of you back in your township, your place, will be able to say, you know what? If he could do that, or I see him doing that, this gives me hope. So can you share some life lessons?
Let me give you one lesson. I do have a very philosophical approach to life, fortunately. And what I've come to discover is that we are all word. So we're not defined by our skin color. We're not defined by who we are, male or female. We're not defined by our hair. We are also not defined by where we are brought up or anything of that nature. We are defined by what we have been created to be, which is word. Your identity is in it. And so when you speak your word, you create the world that you want to live in. So when you can change your mind in seeing the world according to what you want it to be, your word can create that for you. And that's what I've discovered, because I'm a product of it. And this started more than 20 years ago. And today it's brought me in front of you where we are having a conversation, and this conversation being word extends to your audience, and that's how it just continues to grow. So when we realize that that is where our identity is, then we start really loving differently. And I think that's one core lesson.
Awesome. That was brilliant. Well, my last one is not a question, but it's for you to help share how people can support what you're doing or find out more about what you're doing, the social media handle or whatever you want to share. But at the same time, after that, I want you to give words of encouragement to anyone that the Creator leads you to speak to. But look directly in the camera to do that.
Okay, so firstly, in terms of connecting with us, our website www.deftouch.co.za. Our South African number is +27 084 253 5931. You can also follow us on Facebook at deftouch_tech, as well as Instagram deftouch_tech, and you can also catch us on LinkedIn by searching for DevTouch itself. If I were to give words of encouragement to any entrepreneur, any individual that finds himself in a situation where they want to see the world differently in the way that they imagine, is find your identity. Your identity will unlock your purpose, and your purpose will go forth and create that experience. Believe it, have faith in it, and don't give up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We celebrate you. We know you've been called for a purpose, and one of it you're doing by serving, by loving, and sharing your story. So we just want to give you a small token of herbs, rosemary, just for you as well to start looking into using more herbs, teas, and so on.
Amazing.
But and at the back tells a little bit about us and what we do.
Excellent
So
stuff.
we thank you, we see you, we appreciate you, we wish you all the very best in life. May the Creator that has put whatever that is dropped in you, may He continue to use you for that purpose.
Thank you so much. Are you from the Caribbean?
Not really.
Not really. Because I'm working with someone from St. Lucia,
Is it?
and we're looking to take obviously what we're doing to the Caribbean as well. And I saw the hat, and I'm
I
like,
know. I'm a world citizen.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'm
Origins?
Jamaican.
Okay.
I'm Xhosa.
Okay.
I'm African.
Yes.
And I'm British.
Yes.
And Nigeria.
What
I
a
could go
word.
on and on.
what a word. So it's nice to meet you.
How do I
So
say
one
thank
hand.
you?
Oh,
Okay.
thank you is thank you.
Oh yeah. I've been taught before.
Thank you.
It's that way. Thank
Yes.
you. Okay. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
One hand.
wanna
Nice to
nice to
meet.
meet you. One hand.
So one hand, nice.
Nice to meet you. Okay, we'll be right back. Hi guys, yes, there's still people and places with me, Dr. Mama K, and we are still at the African Impact Initiative Built in Garage event at Workshop 17, the Watershed, Cape Town, South Africa. And yet we've got another amazing young man who is going to share his story. Tell us who you are, what you do, and anything else you want to share at this stage.
Thank you, yeah. Hi, I'm Chris Kay, co-founder and CEO of Vast MedTech, and we're pioneering what we call neighborhood gynecology. Essentially, we're looking to empower women with immediate answers according to their uterine health. We believe that instant answers means instant peace of mind, right? So currently, 33% of all women will experience unusual uterine bleeding at some point in their lives. And unfortunately, they have to wait up to 9 months just to get fair care. So we believe the moment we place that care in the community, women have instant answers, and the only way we can do that is by delivering our 3 promises. Make it 50 times more affordable than the current standard, make it comfortable enough so that we can place it in primary healthcare facilities like clinics, and make it portable, right? So we can send people into rural areas, into edge access areas, so that we can really spread the footprint of healthcare. And so, yeah, that's us in a nutshell.
All right.
Yeah.
So I like the horse. So you started it when?
We started operations about 3 years ago, and
Okay.
we're about a year and a half out of market now.
Awesome. So now let me come back to you as an individual. What is your story?
Yeah, so I grew up in a single parent household. My mother was my first real role model, and she raised my brother and I single-handedly. And that's honestly my driving force. My relationship with her is stronger than ever, and has always been pretty strong. And honestly, on days, I think all the founders here understand the strife of startup and of capital, capital resource in the space. So when things do get slightly tougher, my talk today was all about her resilience, her heroism,
Right.
her exceptionalism, and her realism, and taking that journey with me. And so my co-founder is Dr. Vessels, and he's a biomedical engineer. And he was introduced to this problem by the late Dr. Carol Thomas, who basically just said, I'm really frustrated. I'm going to all these primary healthcare clinics in these communities, and these women have been experiencing bleeding for weeks and sometimes months, and I wish I could just see and treat them there and then. And that's where our journey started. So my co-founder is an incredibly technically minded person. I handle the broad strokes vision and the communications, and so that's where our journey started. And today was just a bit of a watershed moment for me. Excuse the pun, we're at Watershed. Just to reflect back on why it was that I chose to take my co-founder up on the offer to start this. And it was really just because, globally, women do form the bedrock of any community, because they're managing what's happening at home. They're managing what's happening at home. They're managing their own children and their own children's set of needs, and their own career paths. And if 33% of all women are experiencing this condition, it's yet another thing they have to be worried about. And so you can imagine the actual empowerment that we can help women with if they can get immediate answers. So that's really where we come from, and we are women-led. 90% of our clinical advisory board are comprised of women, and we're just honestly honored enough to be retelling the story that was written by women. So we're still in the infancy of our startup in terms of the greater medtech landscape, but and medtech's development cycles are sometimes 5-10 year cycles. We've managed to reduce that down to 2 years, and our goal is to help 3 million women by 2030, and we see that in view. So the idea here is the moment we lift women up, the whole society rises up, right? And that's the idea. So you can't really put monetary value on women's healthcare, but can you just imagine the kind of economic success we would unlock the moment we pay attention to literally the backbone of our economy, of our society, and the impact that those mothers then in turn have on their kids and their kids' kids. And so anyway.
Thank you. No, I could go into more of it, and I'm just fascinated how passionate, for you, especially with the influence your mother, that has had. So we salute her, we see her, and keep encouraging her, keep letting her know that she's made you, not by, I don't know whether you're a believer or not, God made you, but she's made you as well, and your brother. So keep being there for her, no matter what.
Absolutely.
So what I want to ask you now, where were you born?
In Bloemfontein.
In Bloemfontein. Yeah. So you are South African and an African. So I'm looking at now of you. What are you mostly proud of as a South African? Because, I know we have a lot of negatives, but for us, what we focus on our platform is the positives, because we know most of the time the positives don't get amplified.
Absolutely.
The media loves negative news, but we are like,
exactly.
We want to, portray the positive. So for you, what are you mostly proud of as a South African born in Bloemfontein?
You've just said it now. That is almost my answer. It's the positivity. It's the radical positivity, and it's some people mistake that for a sort of a childlike nature or a naivety, but it's not actually. And some of the panels today spoke about it. It's this ability to look at something, an object in the way, a point of resistance, and instead of interpreting it as the challenge, as the quote-unquote problem, reframing it as the solution in and of itself, right? And that's a really infectious spirit. That is the human spirit, fundamentally. It's almost beyond human if you think about it. And I think what draws, Africa is clearly not a monolithic experience. We've got so much diversity, even just in South Africa, never mind our neighbors. But what we do all share is this idea of hope and optimism, and not blind hope and optimism. We've got incredible engineers, we've got incredible systems thinkers here, but it's the ability to sort of almost smile in the face of adversity, to make jokes, and and I think the whole world is learning from that now.
Yes.
And the whole world is looking to us for that very hope, whether they are willing to admit it or not. I would not be anywhere else right now. I love my country. I'm a little bit biased because I live in Cape Town and with a view like this, but more so with people like this. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else, really. So, yeah.
Awesome. Now let me come back to African Impact event today. What has been your own main key takeaway from today's event?
It was a little bit of a reminder of that sort of stoic framework that I just,
Right.
of like the obstacle is the way.
Right.
I guess I was just reminded of the power of real stories.
Right.
In my line of work in healthcare, things are heavily regulated, things are very technical. And obviously working with engineers all day, it's all about the quality management systems and the regulatory pathway, and at what time you need to execute what variable, and it needs to be because this is going to be serving patients at the end of the day.
Yes.
But what gets lost in all of that story are the real human stories, and that's where my work at VAS I feel has been really important and something I've been trying to focus on. Something that is a niche, which is women's healthcare, within a niche gynecology, within a niche hysteroscopy, which is the procedure,
Yes.
can become kind of mystified. But can you think about the practical implications that has on a woman's life? It's the most practical implication. And so I guess today it was all about real stories and bringing that back to surface, because as entrepreneurs, and I think there's a sort of it's a global phenomenon, the startup culture, as in it's about the entrepreneur and supporting the entrepreneur, which I think is great. But what entrepreneurs should always remember is that they're servants to the very communities that they're trying to sell to. And unfortunately, if you don't have that mindset, you're not going to have a very successful career, because it might sound good to you as a person, but if it's not built for purpose, and the only way you can do that is by actually almost getting down on your knees, speaking to people and asking their opinion. They might not know how to articulate it in your engineering jargon, but that's not where the wisdom lies. It's about that human connection.
Correct.
And again, I guess, last thing I'll say for that question is just, we're in a world now where we're so hyper-connected but don't have actual connection, right? And I think people are looking towards Africa for that very same human interconnectedness, and that's where magic lies. We can have the most powerful AI in the world, but it can't replace human ingenuity. It can give us your top 5 list of, you won't find magic there. You find magic in speaking to one another, right? And in difficult times, we get each other through this. So we are bound by purpose, and we progress with purpose and intent. So.
Wow.
Without getting too fluffy by it. But yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Chris.
you.
There's so much. I could stay all day listening to you. I'm learning. When we have things like this, people always think, oh, okay, it's about what they say. No, I'm actually learning, as well. So thank you for what you do. We celebrate you. We see you. Because sometimes people don't, although through initiatives like that, they're telling you that your story matters, and her story, your mother's story, and your
Exactly.
co-founder, and everybody else that is involved. What I want you to do now is to please share your social media handle, how people can find out more about what you do, support or learn more from it. And at the same time, I want you to give words of encouragement to anyone that you feel led to speak to. But I want you to look now inside the camera.
Okay. So you can find us on LinkedIn primarily. We've got a lot of good content on there around women's healthcare and this new category of healthcare, which is thankfully on the horizon, which are day facilities for women's healthcare. You can find us at Vast MedTech. And I guess my parting word of encouragement is that I think sometimes all it takes to change the world is faith the size of a mustard seed. So when you're at your lowest, that's all you need to get you to the next day. If you can't get to the next day, get yourself to the afternoon. If you can't, get yourself to the next hour. And little by little, you'll grow your strength into what is able to change the world. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chris. We've got a little practical present for
thank
you.
you.
Is fresh rosemary, well, dried rosemary, but from our garden, because we're a social enterprise. So we just want to use that to say thank you.
I love that.
Use it as a tea, use it to make your hair or the skin, whatever you want to. We've got direction in there.
Amazing.
But we thank you for sharing your story, with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you
appreciate
so
that.
much.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be right back. Guys, yes, it's still Dr. Mama K here, People and Places, and we are still at the African Impact Initiative event at the Watershed, Cape Town, South Africa. And yes, finally, I get a woman. Yes, me and women, we women rule. Although saying that, some of the initiatives that you guys have heard about has been mostly about, young men who are doing things for women and promoting women as well. So, my dear sister, young lady, can you tell us your name and your organization and where you're from?
Hi, Mama Jai. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Kane, and I am the founder of a hearing health tech company based in Botswana called ISA. And I'm really excited to have this conversation with you.
Right. So, how did you get into founding your business or your company?
Initially, when I started my company, my goal was to give back to my country. I did not actually set out to create a company.
Okay.
I just learned about the challenges that people who are hard of hearing and deaf were having in my country, and I decided I wanted to do something about it. And throughout that journey, there emerged an opportunity for us to create a full-fledged hearing health tech company, and I decided to just run with it, and here we are.
Awesome. So today's event, African Impact Initiative, built-in garage event here. I know there's been speakers, there's been panel, and a lot of other things. What has been your main takeaway from today's event?
Today's event was an incredible opportunity to connect with like-minded builders, creators, entrepreneurs, and founders from all over the African continent. It really has been an experience that allowed me to see what others are doing, learn from the best practices, and bring back some of that experience and knowledge to my own venture. So I'm really excited to continue the conversations beyond today with these individuals so that we can continue to build the Africa that we ultimately want to see, because at the end of the day, we are the change makers and we are the ones that are going to propel this continent to greater heights.
Especially you young ones.
Yes,
So I see you wearing the T-shirt African Impact Initiative. Although saying that, I'm still young, by the way. So why am I putting myself? I'm still young. Maybe not the official young. So African Impact Initiative. What has your experience been? With the whole initiative, the challenge, the initiative, and so on.
Being a part of the AIC program has allowed me to not only build and scale my company with mentorship support, real support from the organization, but also to connect with other founders across the African country, to meet with investors that are committed to actually making a difference in the lives of Africans, but also certainly the market creation opportunities in the continent. So AIC has really provided that platform for us to connect with an array of individuals who are helping us build our businesses, and also on a more personal note, build our capacity as founders, as leaders of these institutions in Africa.
Let me now go to you being a founder, and
Yes.
because I know founders, when you start, especially a startup, you're doing everything. Finance, access to finance is normally an issue. Wearing different hats, or being overwhelmed even of what is that. What has been your biggest challenge as a founder, and how have you managed, to overcome it?
Yeah, absolutely right. Being a founder requires you to wear multiple hats all at the same time. And at times you have to sacrifice a lot of personal time just for the conviction that you have around the solutions that you're building for the continent. I think that for me has really been a bit of a challenge, just learning how to get settled with the multiple hats that I wear. But at the same time, it has empowered me to really think differently about how I am building, in a sense that I don't have to carry the burden on my own.
Yes.
I can lean on other people to support me in my journey as an entrepreneur, as a founder. So for instance, very simple things like when you're leading a team, knowing when to delegate, knowing when to trust people and the skills and expertise that they bring to the table so that they too are able to unleash their potential as leaders. So it has been a rewarding experience. We're not just building businesses and great innovations in Africa, we're also empowering the next generation of leaders to take charge of their careers and to ultimately make a difference as well.
And we had one of our speakers who as well works within the deaf community. We
Yes.
spoke to him earlier on. It was from not Bloemfontein, from Johannesburg. I've
Yes.
forgotten his township now. And he does a lot of work, Deaf Connect, I think he calls it.
Yes.
And he shared with us about people with hearing and without hearing, people with disability generally. For you, what more needs to be done to address the barriers for people, struggling, either deaf or blind or any form of disability? What more needs to be done in Africa?
I think fundamentally we need to raise awareness about the challenges that people with hearing loss or people who are deaf are facing. I don't know if you're aware of the statistics, but essentially over 40 million individuals across the African continent have untreated hearing loss. What that simply means
How many
is
million? 40?
over 40 million.
40?
Yes, 40 million.
Yo.
But this is a silent pandemic that we don't talk about, that a lot of people are not even aware of until it hits you on a personal note. But the reality is that there are children who right now do not have access to, hearing health care. And what that means is that when they go to children and they're sitting in that classroom, they're not able to fully participate, they're not able to fully learn, they're not able to build a solid, meaningful relationship with colleagues at school, with teachers, with their own loved ones. There are also families who are struggling. It's not just about the individual who has the hearing loss or who is deaf that is most impacted. It's the support system around them that is required to bring them along. So we are looking to empower families as well with the tools, resources that they need so that they're able to take care of their loved ones and manage home affairs effectively. And again, the same applies to teachers who have children in front of them that they have to impart knowledge upon, but they don't have the tools and resources to deliver special education tailored to the needs of those individuals with disabilities, and it's not just about people, like you said, who are deaf or can't hear. There are other dimensions of disability that needs to be looked into. And I think, generally speaking, we do need to sound the alarm, because this is ultimately a very silent pandemic. We need to raise awareness. But beyond just raising awareness, we also need to build accessible technology, tools, infrastructure that will allow for us to get folks in front of doctors so that they're able to get their hearing tests done. And I encourage every one of us to do hearing tests every 2 years. That's actually how often we should be doing it. But I know most of us have never even considered doing a hearing test.
I have never. Now that you're saying it, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so it's something that you should, and it's not just about children, even for elderly people as well. The older you get, the more, your hearing deteriorates, and you want to ensure that as an elder, you're creating memories with your loved ones, with your grandchildren, and so that is something that will definitely be of great assistance. And lastly, if I may, I think we also need to build our healthcare infrastructure and upskill more doctors in the audiology space, just because across the African continent we do know that we have a dire shortage of audiologists. In some countries they literally don't have any healthcare practitioners who can support with audiological healthcare. In Botswana alone, there's less than 10 doctors who specialize in hearing loss, but they're supposed to serve the entire population. That is just not realistic. So we do need to do better in building our healthcare infrastructure beyond raising awareness and beyond providing the technical solutions.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and not only that, for impacting lives. Can you please just help share your social media handle, how people can reach you and support, or even find out more, network, collaborate? And at the same time, I want you to give words of encouragement to anyone you feel led to, but I want you now to look in the camera.
Sure, so you can reach out to Utla at utla.com, and you can also find us on all social media platforms at Here Utla. We look forward to hearing from you. We would love for you to join us and work with us, and also just use the services. If I could leave you with one word of encouragement, it would be to please take your hearing health seriously. I encourage you to go and see your nearest healthcare practitioner, to go and test, just a simple test, see how well you're doing. And if you're doing great, then that's awesome, but encourage somebody else as well to get theirs checked out as well.
Thank you. Wise words. I'm going to go and get a test done, because I don't even think I've ever done an hearing aid.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I keep telling my doctor recently, I'm like, I think they said wax or something. My ear keeps popping. And I'm like,
You need one.
I need one, and I know my mom as well. She's 85 to be. She's been complaining about her hair, and we've been like, she needs to go and get an hearing test done. Thank you so much for all you do, and for sharing your story, and for impacting lives positively in Botswana and hopefully as well across Africa. We want to just give you a little token. It's herbs that we've packaged. They're homegrown for you to make tea with when you get to Botswana. If you take that, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it.
You're most welcome. We'll be right back. Hi guys, yes, it's People and Places with me, Dr. Mama K. And yes, we are still at the African Impact Initiative event at the Workshops in Cape Town, South Africa. And now we've been speaking to founders and various other people, but now we're speaking to an attendee just for him to share tell us a little bit about himself. And I need to put a disclaimer. So me and him had done a job before that we met somewhere else. So today I just thought, whoo, I know this guy. So tell us who you are and whatever you want to share.
Hello, my name is Aloy Honora. I'm an entrepreneur involved in different industries in the mining space, in the energy space. But also besides that, I'm also developing a platform for film industry talent. Yes.
Okay.
So this has been a very actually interesting session. Really actually impressed with the organizers of the event and the guys from Africa Impact Initiative. I would say they're doing a very great job by providing this platform to African entrepreneurs and giving founders the access basically to build this platform for us basically to create the new Africa that we want. So I would say it's been a very, very nice session.
So you live in Cape Town.
Yeah, I live in Cape Town.
How is Cape Town for you? And where are you from originally?
I'm from Nigeria.
Okay. Proudly Nigerian.
Of course.
You're
of
already
course.
wearing. You're
Of
wearing
course.
something Nigerian.
Yes.
So, how is Cape Town for you as someone who lives there?
I would say that Cape Town is a very nice city, very beautiful place. But besides its beauty, it provides a lot of access because Cape Town is gateway to Africa. So a lot of international events take place here. So in that way, it provides a lot of access to African business people that are looking to connect with the international community. So I would say, beautiful place with opportunities. Like South Africa, they say, alive with possibilities.
So now let's go to you being a Nigerian.
Sure.
What are you mostly proud of as a Nigerian?
The Nigerian spirit. You cannot conquer the Nigerian spirit. We are indefeatable. So that's what I'm proud of, to be a Nigerian. There's that spirit in us that we're just meant to dominate, we're meant to conquer. It's in us. We can't help it.
And as an entrepreneur, because you mentioned there you're in the mining, you're trying to start a platform in the film industry and so on. What has been your biggest challenge as an entrepreneur, and why did you decide to become an entrepreneur?
Well, the challenge as an entrepreneur is for you building, especially on your own, having to start something from the scratch without support. It's not easy, but I would say that it's always a fulfilling journey. Because every time you achieve something as an entrepreneur, you know that you're building something that is meant to last for a long time. So for me, that's always fulfilling. Every time I find myself building something, creating something, and seeing the result of it.
And why being an entrepreneur? Why did you decide to run a business for yourself?
Well, for me, I like freedom. And I feel that through entrepreneurship is how I get freedom, Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
A
We
pleasure.
really appreciate it. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Hopefully, maybe you might decide to take part in the challenge itself, the African Impact Challenge.
Yes.
At a later date, because we've heard from all the people that we've spoken to. They
Yeah.
said it's changed their life.
Yes.
We saw the young man who won $6,000,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. So we wish you all the very best with
Awesome.
your business. But what I want you to do to close with is,
Yes.
can you just give words of encouragement to anyone out there, but just look in the camera directly?
Sure, the word of encouragement I would like to give to anyone out there, to upcoming entrepreneurs or founders, is to believe in yourself, to have a clear vision of what you are trying to achieve. If you are providing a solution, be certain about the solution that you're providing, so that at least it will impact people's life. But at the same time, believe in yourself enough to take the step, because most time people want to have everything perfect before they start, but you can never have it perfect. So just get started with what you have, and you'll find people along the way to support your journey, and everything else will fall in place.
Thank you so much, wise words.
Awesome.
Well, we want to say thank you with
wow.
our small rosemary, freshly grown from and dried out from the garden. You can use it to make tea. There's instruction on how to make it.
Awesome.
Very therapeutical,
Yeah.
and then it tells you about what we do as well.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Alice, for sharing your story.
Pleasure. Thank
All
you.
right. We'll be right back. Hi guys, yes, it's still People and Places with me, Dr. Mamake, and we're still at the Built in Africa Garage by the African Impact Initiative in Cape Town, South Africa. Okay, today they finished the event. There's been food, music, panelists, and so much more going. But I'm sure some of you are wondering, okay, who started this? How did this start? So we're going to end with this amazing, unique young man, my proud Nigerian brother. Yes, we are Nigerians. To share his story and just to tell us a little bit about the initiative and as well about today's event. So tell us who you are, sir, and whatever you want to start with at the beginning.
Yes, thank you so much. So my name is Afosa Obano, Nigerian, like you said, born and raised. Grew up in Nigeria before moving to Canada 12 years ago. So I wear a number of hats, most importantly today as the founder of the African Impact Initiative. So we are an organization that's focused on supporting Africa's innovation through our early visionaries. And we have a mission of doing this by helping them to build sustainable solutions to the biggest challenges being faced across the continent. And our vision is really to create this reality where it's never too early or too difficult for every African innovator to bring the idea to life and make a difference. So by the grace of God, we've raised about 6 million to do this work. And we have trained thousands of early African entrepreneurs, funded hundreds of them to create solutions that have generated close to 100 million in financial value, so revenues, funding raised. And we're in Cape Town today to actually wrap up our 2025 cohort for the African Impact Challenge. So this is our flagship program focused on supporting these African entrepreneurs to build what we call market-creating innovations. So these are innovations that make products or services that are more affordable or accessible to the alternatives in the market. And by doing this, they help us do what we call targeted non-consumption. So by targeting non-consumption, you're serving the population of a country that otherwise wouldn't be able to afford or access the alternative in the market. So very dear to our heart. And then we help these companies to scale globally. So once they've built in their markets, like you probably saw some of the entrepreneurs today from different countries, we help them first craft it, capture their markets, but then expand across other African markets. So this year, the cohorts we supported were able to expand into Kigali, so Rwanda, Kenya, Ghana, Botswana, and now South Africa. And we also have another leg of the expansion where we actually take them to Canada. So we help them expand into that market. We cover their expenses for 3 months to live in Toronto, connect with investors, raise follow-on capital beyond the capital that we provide, because we truly believe that they can be African-built solutions for global problems. That is.
I don't even know, I'm thinking in my head, I want to ask so many questions, and I'm thinking, okay, we'll be probably here all evening, all day, and for some time. Let me start first by you as an individual, because obviously you shared the fact that you were born in Lagos? In Lagos.
Yes.
So you were born in Lagos and you only left 12 years ago to go to Toronto. And since then you've managed, to build this army of people, of doing impact, of things being done in terms of by African for Africans. Why, what was your why? And I know you said there that you wear various hats. I wanted to share some of the hats that you wear. Maybe that could help as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. A very, very good question. So I would start with, I guess, the other hats that I wear. So I also started an organization called the Black Founders Network. So this is based in Canada. It's very similar to this, but it supports Black entrepreneurs who are based in diaspora. So you would probably know this, being someone that's been in the diaspora as well, where you kind of end up having this Black identity when you leave the continent, right? So moving to Canada and seeing some of the challenges that Africans, Caribbeans, people of African descent face when we're trying to build in those markets, there are a unique set of different challenges that you face. So that organization is focused on dismantling those challenges. We provide funding, we provide training. We've raised about 7 million for that, supported tons of people. But I guess the common denominator behind both organizations and my own story, to answer your first question, so I think, my faith is probably the biggest answer to my why. In my language, Efosa means God's wealth. And I've been, I guess, privileged, blessed to have the gift of knowing him, and starting my work with him in 2016, and him, revealing himself very clearly to me. So my purpose,
Being the chairman of EFOSAS,
he is the
overall chairman. Odogu.
Exactly. So yeah, like I'm living by his grace in my purpose. I think our purposes are the intersection between, I would say, the burdens that we feel more than the average person, because of our own lived experiences, and then the unique gifts, talents, networks, etc. that we have to solve those burdens. So for me, like growing up in Nigeria, we didn't grow up in a, what I say, well-to-do environment. So, things that I take for granted today, like internet, electricity, we didn't have those. And as a young child, I would ask my parents, I was very inquisitive about, why some parts of the world tended to have the things that we didn't have. And I learned early on that entrepreneurs or companies were building the solutions to create the things I wanted to experience. So from a very young age, I saw entrepreneurship as like a means for social change, for social impact. And even before I really knew what the word meant, I just, I wanted to be an entrepreneur at a very young age. So that influenced even what I chose to study. My parents were very, obviously traditional in the sense that, you have to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Engineer, lawyer. Those three, top three.
Exactly. So we had a lot of, butting of heads, because I was like, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and they were like,
What's that?
Like, you can't go to school for that. But I was stubborn, and thankfully they let me have my way. So I studied strategic management, entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And I was able to get
Where
into,
did you study that?
At the University of Toronto.
Okay.
So I was able to get into U of T. I did my high school in Nigeria, so in a school called Loyola Jesuit College in Abuja.
In Abuja?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was a boarding school, so I left home very young, like 10, 11, because I went to boarding school. And in that environment, got exposed to, a lot of really smart people who were looking to leave the country, and so I was like, well, I can do that too. So by God's grace, I got into U of T, and I would say that played a big role, because moving to Canada, now seeing the other side of things, life, things that I took for granted, that I didn't have access to, people took for granted. And so obviously I enjoyed being there, going to school there, but I almost started thinking right away, like, how can we leverage this side of the world to help back home? So funny enough, I was one of my entrepreneurship courses was when I conceived the idea for African Impact Initiative. This was in 2016. And like I said, that was the year that also like God revealed himself to me. So I don't even want to say I conceived it, maybe he planted it in my heart. The professor in that course, he was here.
Mr. Bill.
Mr. Bill, yes.
No, he's been the one providing all the speakers for us. God has used him for you, and God led him to me as well to be able for us to do this.
God had used him a lot in my life. He helped me to really, bring the idea to life. He pushed me. It was a project I didn't even know it was going to be something. He pushed me to bring it out, and then from there, the university obviously caught interest, and they've provided us about a little over $1 million since then, which has been fantastic. But they've also helped us with the partnerships needed to really bring that to life.
Yes.
So that was our big break. And then MasterCard came in as well, and they've also played a big role in boosting the credibility. So that's, I would say, the story in a nutshell. Obviously, like, the brand has really grown because of the entrepreneurs. Like, the the champions, like, I've learned from doing this work that talent is evenly distributed, but opportunities are not.
Yes.
And we've seen what can happen when you give someone who has the talent, the drive,
Yes.
and the same like thing that I felt where it's like, oh, like there's a unique problem that I've experienced that I want to solve. When we give them the resources, the network, the support, like we've seen what can happen. So
and I think I'm not cutting it because I know your guys are waiting for you. I probably would even want to spend a full-on day to hear this full story. If you don't mind.
Of course.
We can do it virtually.
Of course.
We do that regularly. Then we'll have more time. I want to know a lot more, deeper than, what I'm asking now. But let's come back a little bit now to the Built in Africa Garage and the fact that this is today's event, which is about showcasing, those who have taken those bold steps, those, engaging change makers. And we've heard, from people from Botswana, from South Africa, and obviously I've been speaking to other people. For me, what they're all saying is they like the fact that somebody is listening to them. The fact that someone, has decided to, yes, we have problems, but we have solutions. So like what you said here about access to finance, the network opportunities, the platform, for them to showcase and to tell their story so that you are not the one going to do that work in Botswana. You have someone here, and so on. For you, when you see how you're creating little soldiers, across, and I think the phrase one of the young men used was, we're cooking. We're cooking.
Yeah.
We've cooked things in Botswana. And we're cooking all across Africa.
Yeah.
What, do you think? What more, rather, do you think we need to do as Africans? To lay more legacy. To be honest with you, all the people I've been speaking to, I was telling them I feel so comfortable a little bit now because I know Africa is in good hands with our young ones based on the passion, how they're talking from their heart, how they're thinking, yes, those problems are there, but we're finding solutions to them. What else do you think we need to do? Because everybody now, we still have people jack buying, as we call it in Nigeria, or even people here, although a lot of South Africans don't do as much as we do because the country is, works in terms of infrastructure and everything else. And it's not that our country is not working as well, but our population, I believe, is good, but at the same time,
Exactly.
So what else do you think we can do to genuinely say, what? God has put us all in this world to impact lives positively, to do good, to serve, to love, and so on. What more? You're already doing so much more, and I'm so proud of you. I'm getting goose pimples even just listening to you. But what more do you need to be done? Because we must not get too comfortable because we still have people in rural South Africa with no access to lights, to toilet. In Nigeria, I run my mom's school in Nigeria. It's a low-income school. People are paying small fees, but they can't even afford it. 10,000 naira fees, and they're still struggling, and they'll rather take their children out or use that money to go and do Owambe or something. What more can we do to educate? I don't know. I'm asking a lot in there.
It's a very
but
good
you're already
question.
doing a lot. But I'm just saying, how can we get to those in the grassroots?
It's a beautiful question, and it's one that keeps us up at night because, like you said, we're doing a lot, but there's so much more to be done. So much more to be done. I think, so maybe I'll give a more kind of philosophical or spiritual conviction because it's a question that has bothered me so much that I have basically prayed about it. I'm like, God, we're doing all this work, but the stats are still, what the poverty capital of the world, everything. So it's kind of like, and it's not like we're not making impact. But it just shows you how big the problem is. So he has given the conviction that there will be an Africa that is free from poverty. Amen. It's going to transcend generations. So we are planting seeds, but those seeds are going to harvest. Like depending on what you believe, if you believe in heaven and you believe that in the Bible and in Jesus, it says people from every nation will be gathered. That implies that there are nations. That implies that there is Africa. And we know that there's no sickness, there's no poverty. So that is going to happen. The how and the when is now like what I'm yielding to, and I think we're all called to yield to. We will see it, which is the cool thing. So I started getting disillusioned because I'm like, I can do all this work and die, and I don't see that Africa that we're talking about. But he again convicted me that no, in fact, like we will all be in the same time zone, if you will, when everything is perfect. So we can take encouragement that even though we might not see it in our earthly lives, we will see it when it comes to fruition.
Right.
So that has given me the comfort and confidence to know that, okay, this is an eternal game, if you will. And we need to now help make more disciples, more planters, right? Where it's like, how can we help everyone? Because if you look at it at the roots, each of us are created with a purpose to contribute towards that reality. And we do it in our own lifetimes on earth. We pass the baton. Everybody is a big reunion at the end, but we're passing the baton, right? So it's kind of like, how do we help people to, first of all, get that, come out of the place of being so burdened by what life has thrown at us, to like stop living for just me, right? And start living for
The common good.
because once you key into that, things fall in places for you to do the work, and there's just, I guess, grace, favor that comes with that, and I think so. For us, for example, like we know that, sure, by God's grace, long life here, we do a lot here, but 1,000 years from now, if heaven hasn't come, there will be people that are doing things because of what we started, and things will be better in the macro scale. But it's like everyone has a role to play. So I think for me the key is, how do we unlock people's potentials, mindsets, hearts, all that stuff, so that they can start playing their part, right? And how do we not get disillusioned by thinking, oh, it's so big, but that means there's just so much to do, which means everybody has something to do, right? So I think we try to get people to see themselves as, that's why going back to like our vision, it's never too early or difficult for we're trying to create a reality where it's never too early or difficult for everyone to take action, bring their ideas to life. If everyone can start, right, and keep going, and then it has a ripple effect, compound effect. So I think it's philosophical, it's not very practical, but I think it's more like, okay, for us, that's what we've committed to doing. The other thing I think more practical is that we have to, like you said, migration is a big thing now. People like Japan, it's a thing. For example, like I'm an example of the positive of living.
Big
because
time.
if I stayed
Big
in
time.
Nigeria,
You might not have had that opportunity.
right? So
not
I
you
don't
might
think
not. You
I will
won't
not,
have.
absolutely not
The
have. Like
exposure.
people, there are people more qualified, experienced, passionate than myself, but the system, right? So I don't think it's bad that people leave. I think what's important is that people give back, and I think
that's where I wanted to. I wanted to make sure that this our conversation comes.
Exactly, because it's like,
back.
if you think about in Canada where I live, the top black people, actually let me say black people, in corporate Canada, the top firms, Nigerians are there, Africans are there. In fact, we have government ministers in Canada who are Nigerian, African, like in Alberta, like Casey Mado, like Igbo guy, he was a minister, like so. Our people and all these people still consider home as Africa, so they are assets. Now we need to figure out how do we leverage them, the social capital, the resources they can pour, and make a part
the grass.
Exactly. So I think that is also going to be a big game changer. It's already happening slowly.
It is.
And it's going to keep compounding. So I think those of us who have the luxury of playing both sides, we need to create bridges as much as we can.
Yeah, you are already.
You know, you'd be surprised how many people in Canada alone, since I moved there. I moved there in 2013. At the time, there were about 300,000 Africans. Now it's 1.5 million. Like, and it's not even been 20 years. It's like 12 years.
Wow.
So it's And so these are people, these are a lot of EFOSAs who are going to have, so that bridge, we now need to make sure that as they're advancing, we're creating that bridge back. And I think the same can be said for the UK, for the US, for everyone.
Correct.
So I think that's the other piece, especially as we're going back to our program and this event. It's like African solutions can solve global problems as well, right? But how do they get to the global markets? It's through us that have access to the global markets. I can get people to Canada because I'm there. So that bridge is not just only for them to give back, it's also a two-way bridge. It's also for us to open the markets to the people here to sell there.
Correct.
Think about it practically. In Naira or in cedis or in Rand, the currencies fluctuate so much. So even from a purely capitalist perspective, if you are selling a product and able to earn in dollars, is a better business because it's a more stable. We've seen this because we've invested in companies who've made a lot in Naira, but in the 10 years since I moved, the currency has gone 10 times. So even if they made 10 times in Naira, they didn't make any money in dollars. They lost all it because of the exchange. So practically, if we can help African businesses solve global problems, then more wealth is coming back to Africa. So that bridge is a two-way bridge. I think that's the practical thing we can also keep trying to do. And as you can tell, I can talk about this for
I could see that, and even me, I'm getting into it. But thank you so much. Built in Africa Garage, your team, especially my young lady, daughter, sister combined. I've forgotten her name now, but she was so good. When we saw her at the African Tech Festival. You see how attending events like this, I always tell people, it's good to go out to network. You never know who, So now we're here meeting you and hoping, we can give hope, and inspiration to a young EFOSA in Lagos so you are Edo?
I'm Edo,
okay.
Yes.
So where specifically are you?
I'm from Benin.
Benin, okay. So we can give a young 7-year-old EFOSA who will watch this and say, wow, I really want to be like this. I really would want to, aim high for something like this. So well done and kudos to your team and all your supporters. Mr. Bill, I see you. Shout out to you. Thank you for all the people that you've arranged for us. And we were so excited with the young man that won the prize as well.
Yes.
We interviewed him as well. He was excellent in terms of the work he too is doing. And for us as well, the fact that we're seeing South Africa being, like a base for all people from across Africa to come to. So it's not about you from Nigeria or Malawi, it's you being an African, and sorting problems and solutions. Thank you so much. I want to now ask you to just please give words of encouragement to anyone that you feel led. I always go with the spirit myself, led to speak to. But I want you before that to just share your social media handle of how people can join or find out more about the next cohort because information is power. A lot of people will be like, how can I do this? How can I be part of that program? How can I benefit from it? So we want you to share the social media handle and as well give words of encouragement. But I need you to look directly in the camera.
Okay, perfect. Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Mama K, for the beautiful conversation and for covering all of this. Like, we didn't even ask. So I think you're also playing your part. You're doing your part, and whoever watches this won't have heard about the event without this. So thank you, and thank your team. For how to find out about the program, the work we do, it's our website is www.africanimpact.ca. You can also just Google African Impact Initiative and it would come up. We are also on social media, so LinkedIn, African Impact Initiative, Instagram, African Impact IN, and Facebook, African Impact Initiative, Twitter, African Impact IN as well, and YouTube, African Impact Initiative. You can find me at EFOSA Albano on all the platforms, and then on LinkedIn, EFOSA Albano is how you find me, and I'll be glad to help, chat with anyone who reaches out. I think words of encouragement would be, if I think back to myself before I moved, I think don't limit what you think you can accomplish to your environment currently. Like, don't limit, don't think because you're in wherever you're watching from that your world is only, sort of encompassing that location, because there's so much that can happen once you sort of dream big. So I would say that would be the first thing. Like, whatever it is that you feel really burdened by in the world, like whatever problem, like if you had a magic wand, if you can solve this problem, whatever that is, believe it's possible. Believe it's possible. I think that's the first thing. And then start. So start is subjective. Start could mean Googling, how do I solve this problem? It could mean joining a program like our program. It could mean, researching, but whatever start means for you, how can you take a step after watching this to like start trying to solve that problem? It's never too early. In fact, the sooner you start, the better. Like, success that people see is years of failure. So when you start, it won't go according to plan. Things will not work out perfectly the first try. I guess the second lesson tied to that is don't view anything as failure. It's only a failure if you fail to learn from it. So every failure is just an opportunity to learn, okay, how do I not do it that way the next time? My life, our organization, our work has been a series of failures. It's been just, you try, doesn't work out at first, but you learn, okay, maybe it's not this way, it's this way. So once you start and you just have a lens of not necessarily viewing anything as failure, like, you will keep learning. And as you keep learning, you will do it better. You just have to keep going. So I guess that's the third piece of advice, is just keep going. We've gotten to this point now where we have the visibility and all of that, but it's the same mentality. Like, we're still constantly learning. This event, as great as it was, there were things that didn't go well that we're not very happy about. We put it in group chats. We're going to learn from it. So the next event is going to be better because we'll implement those things. So it's a constant process of learning. You only really stop growing when you stop learning. I guess if I were talking to myself then, that is what I would tell myself. Because if you just implement those things as a way of life, like, the sky is the starting point. Like, you will be so surprised how far you can go.
Wow, thank you. There was so much packed in there. I know you have to go, and they've been waiting for you for a long time. But we celebrate you, we see you. Definitely, because of you, I'm going to come to Toronto. I have a brother there. I'm sure he's going to go, so now, they are not coming because of me, but I am definitely to come to Toronto.
I would love to host you.
We really appreciate what you're doing with your team through your initiative in Africa. Interestingly, what drew me to the name was we have a program called Impact Africa. So when I saw it at the Africa Tech Festival, I'm like, okay, African Impact. So I'm glad, I met you, and I'm humbled to have met you. Thank you. We want to just give you this to say thank you, the small thing, but just to say thank you for sharing your story with us. And then we've got herbs as well.
Wow.
That we just want to say, have your tea. When you have a little bit of tea, rosemary or lavender, just remember this interview and the fact that we celebrate you. Thank you for impacting lives positively in an amazing way. Thank you for taking the bold step to be a change maker. And not only that, for you to be a man of faith, and the God that you serve, the God that you hold on, continue to help you. I just spoke about that mustard seed, that seed. Somebody else spoke about the mustard seed, interestingly. So, but you two spoke about the seed. So I'm going to say, that seed that you're planting, everywhere, creating little efforts here, there, and God will continue to reward you for that long time to come. So please stay humble. Remember where you come from, and I know you already do. And that wealth, which is God's wealth, keep on sharing it for us to create opportunities, for us to be the solution to the problems in Africa. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you. This was so beautiful.
All right. This is all we've got time for. Well, we're hoping, we don't know, but we will follow them to find out when next or where else they will be in Africa. I hope you've enjoyed. Please be inspired. Please support all the people we've spoken about. If you want to find out more, reach out. We've shared all the details there. And please, like Efosia said, we need to go out there to do whatever we can, as change makers individually. That mindset, that's, whatever we need to do, we need to do. We'll be right back. God bless.